Okay, so you know why you here, or do you? Shit, we know why we here, or do we? You are now listening to the On Topic Off Topic podcast with your host Theo and two very special guests for this Valentine's Day special. I have brother Malcolm X Willams, better known as Yatta, and sister Chelsea Willams, better known as Chelsea. You know what I mean? I guess. But these are two longtime friends of mine and Travis's. Sadly, these are two people that I know that are married. Married is not the part that's sad, is that these are probably the only people that I know out of another couple that's married. So, you know, shout out to successful relationships. Shout out to Valentine's Day. Shout out to love and all of the, you know, all of the things that come with it. So, Sister Chelsea, can you talk a little bit about yourself? Kind of introduce yourself to the people.
Okay.
You know, the fans.
Well, my name is Chelsea G. Mays Williams. The fans.
Right.
And I am currently a college professor at the University of Maryland College Park. I originally was teaching at Bowie State University and other community colleges in the area and Notre Dame of Maryland as well. I was hustling for the past 4 years.
Yes, you are.
Very learned woman. Very learned woman.
We have a son named Stokely Baldwin Williams. He is amazing.
Yes.
He's 2 years old.
Yes.
And Malcolm and I have been married for 4 years. What am I saying? 2 years.
Yeah,
4 years.
It's been 4 years?
It'll be 5 years in October this year.
Yeah.
5 years.
What?
I'm
Yes.
surprised every day.
That's crazy.
We've made it this long without hurting each other.
I know, yeah.
That's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Yatta.
Yes, Malcolm X Willams, also known as Yatta. I train mental health therapist, so I'm licensed by the state of Maryland to do therapy here. I've been doing that. I enjoy working with people, you know, and so I think that's something that, and I think therapy is something that's really important and needed, and specifically in the Black community. You know, it's been like a bit of a taboo for way too long, and so yeah, that's what I enjoy doing. I'm also a poet, so I enjoy writing and reading poetry.
Cool.
Went to Alabama A&M.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Originally from Mississippi and out here in Tubman City.
We can hear it.
Oh
we can
yeah,
hear it, brother.
Oh, yes.
We can definitely hear it.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. So okay, we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna go straight into it. Okay.
Let's do it.
And y'all can piggyback off of each other. Y'all can, you know, take turns or talk at one time. I don't know how y'all work it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
just fight over the mic.
there it is. You know, there it is. So, of course, starting off because this podcast is not only entertaining, it's educational. You know what I mean? And I think that myself, the audience, can learn a lot from you two. So let's start off from the root. Where did you two meet? How did you meet?
I want to let you start off the whole process.
Yeah.
So in 2008, I was in a performance, like a small time program at Bowie with his sister, and he and his sister, myself and his sister both went to school together. She was in her graduate program.
Yeah. Shout out to Shanti.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was in my undergraduate program, and we met through mutual friends.
Cool.
So then at this program, I saw this guy. He was like cute. He was a little older. And I was like, oh, okay, he's cute. All right. And I found out that it was Shanti's brother. So I said, Shanti, so what's up with your brother? She said, I don't know. He, you know, it's him.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So is he single? She said, he's single. I said, oh, okay. So can I? She said, yes, go ahead, go at him. So I went and tried to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, Shanti. That's what I'm
And then
talking
this
about.
social work major, this other young woman, comes up and starts talking to him, asking him questions. So, what do you think about this? And what do you do here? And he was just like so nice to her.
Right.
And I'm trying to have a conversation with him.
She's a social worker. I was trying to bring her into the
we're
fold.
relating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring her into the fold. A social
So
worker.
I'm giving her all types of side eye, and she's looking at me like, I'm trying to network. I need
Right.
a job.
Right.
And I'm trying to get on. And
Right.
he's not giving me the time of day, so I just let it just move on, and then I leave, and I never think anything else about it. Never said anything else about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then from there, like in 2014. So what's that?
This was in 2018 when we first
2008.
met each other.
2008 or
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Sorry, 18.
Wow. So from
Year.
2008 to now we 14.
Yes.
Whew.
Yeah.
All right.
So at some point, I started following Chelsea on Instagram
And Facebook.
Not stalking.
I'm about to be like, okay, brother, I'm gonna let you go.
So whenever I'm
cute.
with
I'm cute.
Ashanti, I'm like, she posting pictures. I'm like, Ashanti, you gotta hook me up with your friend. What's the deal? You
I'm a
gotta
great
hook me up.
photographer too.
So Ashanti's like, whatever, dude. No, I'm not gonna do it. So I'm like, girl, this is like a couple years or something. I'm like,
This is like 3 years.
Put me on.
Yeah.
And so I found it at a party. Me and Ashanti's at a party, and Travis knows about that night.
Okay.
Me and Ashanti's at a party, so we having fun, we drinking, like men who do.
Yeah,
You know how we
having
do.
a good time.
Having a good time.
Yeah.
This was June 7th, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Of 14.
2014.
Yeah.
Great memory.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we partying now. Then, like later on that night, Chelsea posted a picture on Instagram, and
Love
so
that picture.
I show. I'm like, you gotta put me on. I'm like, look at this. She's gorgeous. It's amazing.
How drunk are you?
Yeah. I'm a little tipsy.
Okay.
The both of us.
Okay.
And so Ashanti, of course, we both have been drinking. So Ashanti's
Right.
like, all right, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
So jumped in the DMs. Ashanti jumped in the DMs like, hey, my brother, thinks you're beautiful, blase blase. And
My
so,
man. Oh my
and
girl.
then so
My response is, oh my gosh, I have a crush on your brother too. That's crazy.
I started doing backflips in the backyard of the party.
Oh man.
Been here. And so we set up a date for the following day.
Cool.
Yeah, and our first date was on the next day of that night. I woke up and
But the thing is that when he called me, it was very different. When he called me, I answered the phone and he introduces himself and I introduced myself, and then he says, I would love to take you out. I'm like, okay, great. Like, I've been taken out on dates before, no big deal. But then he says, when do you want to go? I said, I don't know, it doesn't matter to me. I'm free tomorrow. Like, it doesn't matter. And I had just graduated from grad school, so my schedule was open. I said, it doesn't matter. He said, no, what do you want to do? The world is yours. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay.
Brother, if I could reach over.
And I was like,
yeah.
and I was like, okay, so tomorrow after church, it's good. He's like, so what time? And I was like, you can come by around 1. And then he calls back and asks me, so car or motorcycle? Like, that was going to impress me. Like, that was something that I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to hop on a motorcycle with a person I have no clue about. Don't know if you're a dangerous psychopath, but yeah, let's hop on a motorcycle together. No, I'm getting in your car. And then he comes to the house.
yeah. At first, I had to get myself together that morning because I'm like, hungover.
Like, yeah.
Apparently, I had told Travis all these things the night before, and so the funny thing is, when I saw Travis the next time, he's like, "So how'd that first date go?" I'm like, how'd you know about that? He's like, that's all you was talking about when I came and picked you up.
Right.
And I was like, okay, yeah. But it went great. Yeah, so we went on the first date that next day. And after I got myself together, I was a little hungover.
It's all good. It's all good. There ain't no problem.
Yeah, no problem at all.
You're missing some vital portions of this.
You know, I'm
That's
old,
well.
my
That's
memory-
why you here.
That's why I'm leaning on you.
So,
It's a beautiful thing about marriage.
Beautiful.
so what happens is he comes to the house in this BMW and he gets out the car. He comes to the door and we walk to the car. We're talking, have a slight conversation. And as you can imagine, like, you know how you meet somebody, you're going on a date and you have your presentational self for
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
This is the person I want you to see.
Absolutely.
We pull out of my cul-de-sac. We go down the street and we get to the main road, get to the intersection. We're having a slight conversation. I'm looking at my phone and we're waiting for the light to change. And I look up in the rearview mirror. I look in the passenger side mirror. He looks in the rearview mirror, and then we both see this guy coming towards us. and he's about to rear end us, and we both feel it. And I think we both said at the same time, "Oh, no," or "Oh shit," yeah. And
That's would have been my response. Oh shit!
Oh shit!
he rear ends us, and we both look at each other like, "Are you say in unison? Are you okay?"
He was like 3 blocks from her home,
and we were both like, "Are you okay?" And then he gets out the car and he checks on me, and I'm checking on him, and then all that presentational self just goes down the drain. Like, it's no more of like, I don't want you to know that. No, it was, this is who I am.
Right.
This is what happens. And this is, we're really concerned about each other. And, but then like 20 minutes of talking to Arturo, I think his name was Arturo or something like that. But he was a Spanish American guy. And he was it was probably the best thing that could have happened to us. Because all that bullshit that you try to put on for a first date was gone
out the door, and it was just like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like, because the presentation self it comes out to be that the presentation self was less than the who you really are at heart.
Wow.
And so
that
impact and that like spur of the moment, it just brought us back to center, to who we really were as individuals. And so it wasn't a show anymore. It was just like, this is raw, this is who we are.
Yeah. So like, I think we like skipped like maybe 5 or 6 dates within a few moments of getting to know of just that happening. Because even we were standing in, I think it was like a Shell or BP parking lot, waiting for the police to come. And he met my mother, my brother, our close friend, because they came to check on us.
Yeah.
So I was myself. He was himself. He was Yatta. I was Chels. And then everybody else was like around us, like trying to make sure we were okay.
Cool.
So yeah, the front was gone.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. And then from that moment on, the date was just like amazing. We went. Like,
so y'all still went on the date?
Yeah.
Car accident would have been it for me. I'd have been it. I'm like, hey, look, check this out. We're gonna have to reschedule. That shit's messed up. So
So it wasn't it didn't like tear the car up or anything. It just like scuffed it a bit.
Little fender bender, something small.
And so we continued on the date, and it was like amazing.
Yeah.
We come to find out that we went to the National Harbor.
Yeah.
They have the movie and outside.
Yeah.
And so it played our movie. We was like, oh, what's gonna be playing today? And it's like, oh, my favorite movie's gonna be playing. And she's like, that's my favorite movie. It ended up being The Incredibles.
Get out of here. Hey,
yes.
Yeah. So
so no front. And I've never heard this story before ever. So that's amazing, y'all. Okay. This podcast started off great. Okay, let's continue. I'm listening.
But wait, the thing is that we got so comfortable with each other. I was exhausted because I had just worked the night before, and I got up and went to church that morning. So I missed like maybe a good few hours of sleep. I fell asleep on our date. He was hungover, so hungover. So I mean, it was just like the presentational self was gone, and we just found home.
Yeah,
it was really
comfortable,
and we just laughed and we talked, and he listened, and I listened to him, and I think that's what really brought us together.
Yeah, and it was like the day lasted until like that night. Like 10 o'clock at night. Our first days from like around noon to like 10, 11 o'clock that night.
That's cool. That's a long movie.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm playing. That's what's up, though. That's great. That's great.
And the funny thing is like, in the middle of that date, she was like, we met before. And I was like, in my mind, like, shit. I don't remember that. I don't know in what capacity it was. Right. And stuff like that.
But his memory's trash anyway.
Oh, man. No. Well, that was, kudos to y'all. Yeah. Kudos to y'all. That sounded like perfection. That's pretty
cool.
To
be.
Close.
Definitely. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So, moving on to, y'all go on other dates, right? And then, you guys really like each other. So much so that you end up getting married, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Very soon after.
So from the first date, when did you guys get married, and what was that time? What was that timeline?
So first date was June 8th. We started like officially, exclusively seeing each other around June 27th.
Something like that. Later in June.
Yeah, he proposed to me on the 26th, the 6th of August. So that first week of August around there. And we were married on October 31st of 14.
Yeah.
So this all happened within
4 months.
4 months period.
That's rare. That's rare. It's beautiful, but it's rare. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, let's see. Do you think that there is a certain level of education that plays a factor in a longevity of relationship?
But, no, I honestly don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because with me, it's about the individual. Like we can have individuals who have 6, 7 degrees,
Right.
and that and that connection between the two of you just could possibly fizzle out. And as far as the because I'm marrying the individual,
Gotcha.
not the sheet of paper that they've gotten. Because with me, yeah, it's great to have education, but it's also good to be human. And being human supersedes that sheet of paper that you get from school, because that's not a true definition of who you are.
Gotcha.
That's kind of like society's look on, where you need to be where for employment wise.
Right.
A lot of people go to school because they want to get jobs. You can learn everything in the world.
Absolutely.
Without even going to those doors. Just go to the library, books. Go to to the library and read.
Right.
But as far as that particular, and I'm not. Are you specifically talking about degrees, right?
Well, I mean, I guess I would say degrees.
Okay.
Because I mean, both of you are college graduates.
Yeah.
Both of you are educated. And I'm not sure if that plays a factor in your relationship, but I know that with some people it does. Some people, education, that I guess that status plays a factor in compatibility with them.
Gotcha.
So just talking to y'all, I know, because like I said, I know that both of you guys are graduates of college and universities. So yeah.
Okay, so me and Malcolm do both have a master's degree, but I think it depends on how you value success. So if you value success, say, my man or my woman needs to have the same education level as I do.
Right.
That's how you value success. But if your person or the person that you want, if you value success for a person to be, having $1 million, and they don't have to have degrees. They can be a 21 Savage. That's fine.
Word.
But you need to have an idea of what success is to you. And for me, like, I know Malcolm, I don't know if he makes jokes about getting the doctorate. So I don't know if he is actually serious about it, but I know I want to get my doctorate. It's something that's like really, really serious to me. It's one of my biggest passions.
Yes.
But for me, I don't need him to have a doctorate.
True.
That doesn't determine that's not going to determine how long we're going to stay together.
Right.
I do think that you might need somebody that has the same view on life as you. That may be a determinant. But success, you need to have the same idea of what successful is and what success you want to see in your relationship. Because if you don't have similar yokeness in your ideals for marriage and ideals for what is right for you and for you as a couple, then I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
Dope.
Regardless of what degrees or lack of degrees you have. Because
Gotcha.
I have people who are married. One has a master's degree. The other one doesn't have a college degree.
Right.
But they've been married for 12, 13 years and have 2 beautiful children.
Wonderful.
And so I think it's more so about the drive of the individuals and the willingness to make it work.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. So let's transition a little bit to let's kind of go back and get the root of, where the love comes from as an individual. So usually you learn how to love from your family and your past, from your, if you are lucky enough to have your mom and dad in your life, you learn what a relationship looks like, or the very first sight of a relationship is usually like your mother and your father and their interactions, right? So what are some of the traditions of love that works wonders in your relationships now that that you have carried from your family? I know Yatta, y'all love is incredible. Like your mom and dad, like I think I met them once at your wedding, but I know Trav talks about your mother and father all the time. And of course, Ashanti talks about your mom and dad all the time. And I see pictures of them, and just y'all go to Mississippi, and it don't matter where y'all are in the world, y'all still come back home, and that's it's really, really amazing. Talk about some of those traditions that you have learned from that you learned then that work now that work in your relationship now.
Okay, yeah, I think one of the most important things that I got from my father, both my parents, was manhood.
Yes.
I think that was always key. It's like you have to take care of people. So growing up watching my dad do the things that he did to look out for all of us. Like my dad.
Real quick, when you say all of us, how many children? Talk about all of us. You know what I mean? Say that number, brother.
Yeah, it's 10 of us in all. So 10 children under one roof. And
in Mississippi.
Mississippi, yeah.
And so my dad, like I've seen my dad go from my dad's a Vietnam veteran, so I've seen my dad go from like working in like warehouse. Yeah. This warehouse called Plywood, and then he went from there to construction, from there to teaching, the education system, and on and on. But what I always saw from my dad was the fact that you have to take care of your home. Yeah. You have to take care of your wife. Yes. And you have to you guys have to be in it together. And so I think manhood has been something that has made this thing stronger for me, because with me, it's not about me personally. It's about us. Cool. Actually, it's about her first, and then it's about the rest of us. I want to make sure my wife is okay. If my wife is good, I'm gonna be okay. My man. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir, gentlemen.
Manhood is one of the major things that I got from my father, because my father took care of his business. Yes. And my mother, and my mother is just simply amazing with everything that she did, teaching us all at home, and just being the woman that she is. I learned so much patience from her. Right. I was a hothead growing up because we were bullied, and so I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder. Right. But my mom broke that, and that changed the whole trajectory of my life. By my mom taking that, that anger and that frustration and channeling it in other ways. So I channeled it into poetry. Yeah. I channeled it into other things that I did. And so I think manhood from my father, being a man, and I think patience and love from my mother is some of the traditions that I brought with me into this relationship. And so wonderful. Sister Chelsea.
So let me talk about his mother for a second. His mother is the person that everybody should have in their life.
You ain't never lie. I swear to goodness. I met her once.
She is like, if you need someone to tell you that, to encourage you, or you need a person that's just going to make you see the bright side of things. Absolutely. His mother's the person to call. Like, I would tell her, like, oh, Mom, I was going to the mall, and then somebody just dropped a whole bunch of trash on the ground, and I just picked it up, and I put it in trash. Oh, my gosh, you're saving the world. Look at you. You are saving the entire... Look at you, recycling. Mm-hmm. You are Captain Planet.
Yep, that's how she is.
In human form. This is amazing. Mm-hmm. Good job, Chelsea. Like, she's that person.
That's beautiful.
Because, and real quick, because I'm 40 years old right now. But
what?
Yeah, I'll be 41 in June, and so till this day, like whatever I do in life, I call my mother and tell her about it. Yeah, and my mother is like on it. Like she gives me that. Like Chelsea said, she gives you that. Ooh, you are something else. You are amazing.
Immediate approval.
Immediate. At this age, I write a poem. Mm-hmm. I wrote a poem the other day. Called. What's it called? Fuck Out of Here. Talking about
you said that to your mama?
Yeah, Latron McDonald. It's about the 81 months, which go out to 6 years. Yeah, I wrote that poem. Yeah, of course, it has a lot of fuck this and fuck that in it. But I sent her that poem, and the first thing she did, she got on the phone, called me. I read that poem. You are amazing. You are something else. That was awesome. That's the kind of stuff, So she's that type of woman.
Yeah.
She's a cheerleader.
Yeah. She's
Yeah, at 40, I'm still sending her stuff.
Bro, it ain't nothing wrong. That's still, that's still your mama. She's still, you still her baby.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when I was maybe 6, I was just so adamant that I never wanted to get married. I didn't want to have children. I wanted to be a career woman. And that's like...
At 6?
At 6.
That's what I'm talking about.
At 10, and then I got to... And I always said that I was going to be that cool auntie that came and got you in my Benz, and then I would have like a coupe. It would be a soft top, and I would come pick my nieces and nephews up, like my good girlfriend's children and my brother's children. We would go have lunch, and I drop you off, and I go up my life.
Yeah. And
that was like just me seeing the negative parts of my parents' marriage, and. My father has a 20-year age difference between my mother and my father, which is funny because me and Malcolm are 10 years apart. Mm-hmm. But he taught me so much about loving people and caring for people. My dad he grew up in West Virginia. He only had one arm, and it was shot off when he was 5. And he became an amazing athlete.
Oh, my God.
And if you all have time, like if anybody has time, Google him. Gary Maurice Mays, sorry. But
what you calling him? The one-armed bandit?
Yeah, the one-armed bandit. He would love on people, like in the sense of like bringing children food when they didn't have anything to eat. He became a cab driver. He learned how to drive stick. He played baseball, basketball, was recruited by the Harlem Globetrotters. How do you, as a person that is handicapped, become so well known and become such an amazing person and so great at what you do without persevering?
Shut down Elgin Baylor. Yeah. Shut him down.
Come on, man.
Yes.
That's my dad. And he just recently passed last year, and tomorrow is the anniversary of his funeral.
But I'm sorry.
It's
sorry
okay.
to hear that.
It's okay. My he's an awesome human being. I'm his twin. So
oh my God.
Just alike. But he taught me how to persevere and how to be strong. My mother taught me how to really love in spite of people doing wrong.
Yes.
And when you have two people and they were together, they stayed married, and from the time they had me, they were married maybe 3 months before I was born until he passed. And almost 30 years they were married. And when you have two people that persevere through the negativity, which a lot of older people do.
Yes.
And that teaches you not only to love hard, but to be strong when the other person can't. And I think that is definitely what I learned from my parents.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So then, so glad that you ended it like that. That was perfect. Because then that brings me to my next question. What are some of the challenges of being a wife and being a husband? Because I know it's not all fun, and it's not, it's not like the Cosby Show. It's not like, it's not like Family Matters or anything like that. It's not all TV and lights and cameras. Sometimes I can imagine that it could get difficult. So, starting with, of course, Chelsea, what are some of the challenges of being a wife?
Okay, so some of the challenges for me as just being Chelsea is to put him first, not to put Stokely first, because in my mind, Stokely comes first. Because I feel like if Stokely is screaming and crying and acting a fool, that means I can't spend time or talk to Malcolm, or I can't do things with Malcolm. So that's something that I have a hard time with. And, even taking it back to just being married,
yes,
you have to get out of your single self. That's so difficult.
Could you elaborate?
Because when you're single, you get up, you take a shower, you live in your own little workspace.
Yes.
The sky is blue, the grass is green. You can leave whenever you want to. You don't have to check in with somebody. Those are great things to have, but once, you're married to somebody, you are tethered to another person. And what you do is directly connected to what somebody else needs to do or can do at that moment. And especially if you're married with, and that's just if you're married without a child.
Right.
But if you're married with a
yeah,
child,
that's right. I forgot people
all.
do that. I forgot all because I was like, oh, that's a lot. That's right. You got to have children too. Go ahead, I'm listening. Okay.
Yeah. And then when you have a child, it throws a whole nother wrench into the mix.
Right.
So now you got two people that you're pulling along with you, but you got to be mindful that it's a game of what is that called when you have your ankles tied together?
What is
what is that game? I know that game. What is that game? Sometimes they put it.
It's a game.
They put it in. They
cookout.
Sometimes you step in a potato sack too.
Yes.
Potato sack racing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So imagine you're doing that, but now you got a little person with you.
Oh.
That is trying to go a completely different way. So now you have to stop and nurture this little person and make sure that you're okay. And you're trying to build this house and you're trying to be great. And you're trying to get your doctorate and you're trying to pass your LSWC.
LCSWC.
Yeah, I mean, you got so much going on as just an individual. And then you got other people too. It's just like, what do I do? And it becomes a tug of war sometimes. Like, what is more important? And how do I make everything important without losing myself?
Right. So do you think that when you became a wife that you were prepared for it as much as you possibly could?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, thank you for being honest.
I think
appreciate
that, being a wife and being a husband and becoming a part of someone else is a difficult thing to do.
Absolutely.
Because especially since we're always growing, we're always evolving. If you're not, you're a stagnant human being, and who wants to be with that person? You're dead.
Right.
We're always evolving. So how can I evolve, grow, and nurture another human being while trying to remember and keep in mind of who I am?
Right.
Without losing me
right.
in this marriage. So I think, remembering who I am and staying connected to me is the hardest thing, because the moment that I stop knowing me is the moment our marriage dies. I think that is like the hardest thing that I've had to do is to remember who I am and stay connected.
Cool. Yeah. Now, I remember at the wedding, kind of the same question was asked of your mom and dad. And your mother said some beautiful, elegant thing that I cannot remember. But it was beautiful and it was elegant. But I do remember what your dad said because it was nice and sweet and to the point it was funny. He just said, make sure she wins. Whenever y'all argue, make sure she wins. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, if y'all challenging, if y'all battling, just make sure she wins. That's the key to a successful relationship. So my brother, what are the challenges? My brother, what are the challenges of being a husband, sir?
Husband.
Yes, sir.
I think one of the major things that has been a challenge to me, and I've been work in process, is to recognize when I need to just stop and back up and just let it be. I'm the type of person who's like, hey, if we're gonna debate about something, I like debating, but it's not arguing to me.
Right.
Debating to me is just like we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
It's an educational disagreement.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Chelsea doesn't see it the same. Not the whole debate world itself, but just our conversation back and forth.
Right.
And so what I've had a hard time is pulling back and was like, right, I'm just gonna be quiet right now. Because that's been tough because I can't I grew up debating my father all the time. I grew up playing chess. Yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, we need to work this out. We need to finish this right now. Right. But in reality, it doesn't work like that.
It don't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to be like that.
Right.
So I've been finding myself apologizing more lately, because of it's like, you know what, you were right. I'm sorry. Which diffuses the whole thing, and then things get kind of back on normal terms. So that's been really tough for me. I mean, that's been an issue that we've had
for a long time.
For a long time.
Right.
It's just like, why are you debating me? I don't want to talk about this right now. And me, I'm like, but we need to talk about it. In my mind, I need to finish this.
Right.
If not, I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
The thing is, it starts off like maybe I say one thing. It could be 1:00, and then let's say 4 o'clock. So what did you think about? And I'm past it. I've moved on. I've made a comment, let's say, about something that's just so that we both talk about and we think very similar to, but it can just be one portion of it. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't see it that way. And he just sits back and he thinks and, plots on it. And I think I hate to say this, but I think that you start building your defense for this topic. And that's why it kind of gets irritating, because you start defensive listening instead of like really listening for my point.
Sometimes, yeah, probably so. But yeah, and so that's been tough for me. But it's been clicking more and more lately that, dude, shut the fuck up. Just go about your business.
Right.
And this doesn't have to, like, this right here doesn't have to define the day.
Right.
This doesn't have to define the moment that we're in right now.
Would you consider yourself competitive?
Oh my God. In everything.
Competitive.
So do you feel like, because again, this is just a conversation. This ain't a therapy conversation.
Yeah.
But I wanted to turn into that. Do you feel like being a brother of 9 siblings, and that competition just growing up, that you have to win? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. No, yeah. I totally understand that.
Especially with my father.
Right.
Me and my growing up, like, my dad taught me everything that I know. He was amazing, but we used to clash. We used to clash because at some point in time, I became, to me, better at doing things than him, and he wasn't ready to pass that on to me like I'm right now. And so, but to me, I'm like, I'm here. This is a better way to do it, and this is how we're gonna do it. And then he's like, no, we're not. You're grounded. Go in there. I'm looking at my mom like, I'm right. And she's looking at me like, listen to your father. And so I think that conflict with my father, where he taught me everything I know and I became really good at it.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, now we're not going to take your route because this is madness to me. And it's just going to be a whole bunch of work that we don't have to do. And so that right there is what I think kind of pushed me to that edge. Cool. Because I'm like super competitive. I told my coworker the other day, she said, I'm happy. My coworker told me, I'm happy that I'm happy about this meeting that we just had. And I looked at him, I was like, I'm happier than you are. And my other coworker's like, Malcolm, we're not competing here. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. We're not, but we are. We always are.
I'm happier than you.
Yeah.
The worst.
Look at the smile on my face. I'm much happier.
The crazy thing about this is that he talks about his competition with his dad.
Right.
Me and my dad, and now this is the craziest thing, because he gets his competition for him competing with his father and his siblings.
Right.
But I get my competition from competing with my dad too. Because me and my dad are exactly alike, so we're always butting heads and we're arguing and we're doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, who is going to win this? And at the end of the day, I'm just like, I don't want to fight anymore because there's no winning against somebody that you love.
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Either we are going to win by just ending it and squashing it, or we're going to win because I have beat you. But who wants to beat somebody that they love?
Yeah.
So then I look at him and I'm just like, let's stop this.
Mm-hmm.
It's no point to me.
Right.
Like, either we're just ending it because it's most of the stuff we're like going back and forth for are not about our marriage. No. It's about outside things that are not concerning us at all. Mm-hmm. They're just small differences of opinion.
Right.
You may just think that the same thing is wrong, but just different things that people have done are that start the argument.
And we're going into our 5th year. And so I'm like, recently, started realizing like, dude, back it down some.
Yeah.
This is not, you guys are not in competition here. You guys are in this together.
Oh my goodness.
And so chill out. You don't have to win everything.
Right.
So that's something that was really tough in the relationship for me. That part, and also this wasn't so as much as a battle, but I'm a therapist, so not bringing that into the relationship, not diagnosing people in my head, you know, and not trying to provide like. Sometimes Chelsea may feel like I'm just like being bland when she like comes at me with a problem,
right?
But it's me not turning on my therapy hat, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I don't want to. That's work, you know.
Right.
So I'm not trying to bring that into it. So some of the times, my responses may be kind of like, "Oh, really? Wow, that's crazy. That sucks, baby. I'm sorry." But she may be trying to pull out something deeper.
That's
but
all you gotta say. Like,
yeah, exactly. But the deeper part is like, tell me more about that.
Right.
You know, it's but I'm not trying to
Like
get
to
into
sit
that
here on this couch.
Lay back. Let's thumb through this DSM real quick. But no, you know, so that's the part also that I try to steer clear of.
Right.
Is bringing that world into what we have here, and so
you was gonna bring out the DSM of me? Good Lord, I don't have no serious problems like that.
So we got about 5 to 8 minutes left.
Oh wow!
Right? Yeah, it 45 minutes goes fast, right?
Jeez, yes.
So I'm gonna hit y'all with 2 questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Okay. So the very first question is, how does one maintain a healthy marriage? If I didn't already ask that already. But like
we have the secrets.
Right. So I mean, 5 years, you've talked about the roots. The roots sound healthy. The meetup sound healthy. The date sounded healthy. The marriage I was there. I was at the wedding. So the wedding was amazing. Y'all have an amazing, cool kid, you know, or child. I'll say child because kid is an animal, right? Yeah. It's not an animal. He was raised in the South, just like my family. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah. So you have a cool child. From the outside, it looks healthy. How do you maintain that from within?
From within,
yeah.
I think a major thing, if you don't mind me going first, baby. Okay. I think a major thing is that it's understanding that what people see, you know, is not like how people see that marriages should be is not what it's gonna be, and acknowledging that going in, like,
right? This
is not gonna be peaches and cream every single day of our relationship,
right?
You know, and being okay with that, sitting with that, and understanding that there are gonna be tough times, and in those tough times, we're gonna have to be in this together. You know, we're not in this like you can be in a tough time by yourself, and you just got yourself.
Yeah.
When you've been a tough time together, then you got someone to, you know, kind of bounce ideas off and to try to process things with, and to understand that, and understand that what we have as a black married couple is bigger than any bullshit that can come in and try to tear us apart. So acknowledging that there's gonna be rough times, and that there's something but there's gonna be beautiful, bright mornings and days and nights after that, and not being stuck in that one moment.
I think you have to be paying attention to the reason you got married. You always have to keep that in mind. Why did we get married? And then the next thing is like, because when things really get difficult, I think it's hard to see what started this. What is the seed that started this tree?
Right.
And because at the point after you get married, you're flourishing. You have family members, you got siblings, his cousins, nieces, nephews, but it's not about them. It's about you two.
Right.
And honestly, that saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself, it really should be check yourself before you wreck yours, like before you wreck all of yours, because a lot of the problems that we do have stem from what did I say and how am I perceiving this? Am I listening? And that's the biggest part of communication is, what did I listen to?
Yeah.
What did I really hear? What did this person say? And then it's checking what actually happened in this conversation, because a lot of the problems that we have was just basic communication and perception. So he would say something, I would interpret it one way, I would say something back because of my perception.
Right.
And you know, when you're angry, you say something that isn't right, and you didn't want to say it nasty,
right?
But you're angry, so you do say it mean. Instead of coming back and say, he did not mean it this way.
Right.
And you have this conversation, and once things are out there, you can't take anything back. You know, communication isn't repeatable. Once it's out, it's out. You can't redo it. You can't undo it. It's out there. And I think you have to be mindful of being the best and healthy person. Are you really healthy yourself? Yeah. Enough to be in a healthy relationship. Because if one person is dysfunctional and you're ill, you're just gonna, you know, make the other person ill too. There you go. Now you're both sick.
Right.
You know, who wants to be with a person that's fluish? No one wants to be with a person that has flu-like symptoms. And if you are not well mentally, emotionally, and physically, how can you make the other person flourish as well?
Because it's contagious.
It is.
So working on yourself individually while working on you together is so important. For
Absolutely.
Not getting lost inside of just the two of you, but saying, I am an individual person. I need to be healthy. You're an individual person. You need to be healthy.
Yeah.
And we can move together in that process.
A healthy tree does not grow. So.
An unhealthy tree.
Yeah.
Does not
unhealthy
grow.
tree does not grow. Excuse me.
My goodness. So, last question. Very loaded question, but, you know, we can condense it, condense the answer. Because I know that both of y'all have a Bible on this question, but what does black love mean to you both? If it means anything, if it's just love and you don't want to put something to it, then that's cool. But what does black love mean to you both? Starting with however y'all do it.
Black love to me is it's unity, it's power. You know, it's revolutionary. You know, and so it's bringing the masses of the people with you on your shoulders. You know, and showing the world this is what amazing is. This is godlike. You know, unity between us, and so because to me, and this is real quick. Like I said, I can go all day.
Right.
But with me, like, there are a lot of different things that are revolutionary, and has been a good person, been in a unit for not on. This isn't for just us.
Right.
It's for the masses of the people to see. It's a
Agreed.
blueprint.
Right.
Like, my father and mother's marriage isn't just for them and the 10 children they created. It's for the community as a whole.
Yeah,
you know?
Black people in themselves, I think every time we do something, every time we show up, every time we present something positive or negative, it's a form of activism. And it's a representation of us. So two people that are Black, loving or caring for each other or supporting each other is the best form of activism I think that Black people can have.
Yep.
And doing it in just a healthy way. It doesn't have to be traditional. It doesn't have to stand up to respectability politics, but the fact that you two are loving on each other, caring for each other, and really supporting one another is in itself a revolutionary act.
Yeah.
And I think Black love is the best way to start a revolution.
Yeah.
And continue it.
And then you have soldiers to continue it on that line.
Because there's always a little girl looking at Barack and Michelle like, I can do that. Who doesn't want that?
With so much negative images that are out there against us purposely by society.
Right.
You know, pushing this as a way to fight white supremacy.
Okay. Well, we're going to end it with that because I think that was amazing. That was great. I'm glad that y'all condensed it. I know it can be, you know, that was very condensed.
Another
very
45 minutes on that.
Very compressed. But you've listened to the On Topic, Off Topic podcast with your host Theo and guest Malcolm X Willams, a.k.a. Yatta, Sister Chelsea Williams, a.k.a. Chels. Thank y'all for listening. Peace out.